think one of the things that SJB taught me, I was just talking to the development director, is about service. I think both SJB and I went to Villanova both taught about volunteering and serving the community. And I think what's great about that is it helps you not only meet people, but it also allows you to give back. And there's not a lot of pressure to do it. You know, you're not getting, it's not a job, so you don't have to worry about performing. And a lot of people need volunteers, so it provides flexibility where you can, you know, do it on your schedule in order to help them. We did our senior class trip, or one of the trips that year was to Italy. And I got to go to Italy for the first time to Europe, and that actually changed. I met a teacher who I never had before. I knew of her, Miss Gigliotti, who's since retired. But she asked me, what do you want to do with your life, or where do you want to go to school? And I said, oh, I'm between Georgetown and Villanova. And she said, well, you know, I went to Villanova. I'm an alum, and I know somebody who works down there, and maybe I can connect you with them, and you can talk about some options. And I said I'd be open to that. And it turned out it was her old roommate from Villanova. They've been best friends for decades. And I went down there. She sold me the school in about probably less than an hour, and that day I decided that's where I was going. So basically that one field trip, you know, meeting Miss Gigliotti and talking to her changed, you know, the next 4 or 5 years of my life, and probably after that, because then I met people at Villanova and that changed things. Then before you know it, you have this snowball effect that affects your whole career. I've been a coin collector for about 20 years, and then my first job out of school was a company that authenticated and graded collectibles. So I worked for them for about 5 years. It was called NGC. Or Certified Collectibles Group is the parent company. The best example that I can give to probably seeing a product is if you've ever seen The Big Bang Theory, and when they go to the comic book shop and they're looking through those holders, the plastic holders that they take out, that was our company. I was on the coin side, and you know, we did comics and trading cards and sports cards and paper money and stamps, and basically if we could put it in a holder, that was our business. And then after I left them, I went and worked for one of our customers, so Commonwealth Mint, and they doing the actual making of the product versus the encapsulation. Yeah, I think, you know, the goal had always been coming to St. John's, where I would then, you know, obviously go to school, go to college, and, you know, going here for 4 years definitely prepared me to, I was telling the students earlier today that the rigor and the coursework, if you put in the work now, it's definitely going to pay off when you're in college. You know, it definitely prepares you. It definitely, I would get there and people would go, you know, oh, I remember one year, I want to say I was a sophomore, and it was the Friday before Easter, the Friday before spring break. And every class that I had 5 exams that day. 5, you know, every teacher, of course, picked that day to put exams, you know, and the studying that had to go in to be able to do that was like, you know, you had to know 5 different tests and 5 different subjects, and that kind of experience prepared me for college. I think the discipline is probably something that I brought, not a saying, but more of a way of life. We talked about earlier about being, you know, dressed really well. It was always something that, because of the fact that I wore a blazer every day, you know, for 4 years or 3 years before senior year, that taught me to be disciplined in my presentation with people, to be respectful. I think that was something at the time that, you know, with teachers, you know, having the respect for teachers, for administrators, for the school staff, you know, so that really, I wouldn't say it was one saying. I mean, there were plenty of different sayings. You know, Miss Walsh used to say, buckle down, you know, or something like that. But we always, it was those kind of just values of discipline and structure and respect that, you know, are good to have in the workplace, and probably today are more valued than ever before.